several times in the mission where the Spirit would communicate to us, and you'll hear in the MTC, and you'll hear advice given that without the Spirit you can't teach, and the Spirit's so important, and always have the Spirit with you, and you may think, oh, I've heard that before, enough about the Spirit, but really, it couldn't be more true. I remember a companion and I, we'd be teaching somebody, and while we're teaching them, we would say, we would share our testimony, close with a prayer, and then as we leave the person's house, my companion, like, the Spirit's so strong, let's hurry up and get to our next appointment while we have the Spirit with us, and almost go to our next appointment with little blinders on our face, not to look around, because there's lots of distractions. Girls that aren't dressed. Girls that are dressed for the weather, and it's real hot, and so we'd hurry up and get to our next appointment, and Spirit would be so strong, and then we let's get to our next appointment. We try to keep the Spirit with us throughout the day, and it felt like that's what you're trying to do. You're kind of competing with the world, and trying to keep the Spirit with you, and even to this day, that kind of feels like how we are here. If there's something I learned from my mission, this would be definitely one of them. Is I feel like I'm always competing with the world and trying to have the Spirit in our home. And when things go wrong at home, and there's kids are arguing and fighting, and I feel like, ooh, I'm losing. We need to get that Spirit back. We need to read scriptures, or we need to say prayers together as a family, or watch a good church show, or something. Spend more time together as a family. That's one of the things I guess I could say I took from my mission is, you're constantly battling with Satan and with the world to try to have that Spirit with you. There was times in my mission which I can look back now and I can see why they changed to the new structure of how to teach with the new missionary Preach My Gospel book, which gives more leverage for the missionaries, or more leeway for the missionaries to kind of do what they want and teach the way that they how the Spirit tells them to. We would have these. We'd have 6 discussions, and we'd go through these discussions. That's how we did it when I was in the mission field. But there'd be times when we're teaching that discussion where the Spirit would clearly say, "Just ask them to be baptized right then and there." And even though that's not the time in the discussion where you say it, and we just say, "Hey, will you be baptized?" And they'd respond, "Absolutely." And it's something that I use today. That when the Spirit tells you to do something, it doesn't matter where you are in your life, what portion of your life you're in, what you're doing, and what you think is irrelevant. If that's what the Spirit tells you to, let's act on it, because the Lord has other plans for you. Elder Kikuchi of the 70 came and spoke to those in the Virginia mission. And one of the things he told the missionaries, he says, there's going to be times where you're going to feel the Spirit, or you're going to feel a prompting. I think that's what he says. You're going to feel a prompting to go do something on your mission or anytime. And he says, let's say, for example, you get a thought, hey, you need to go and visit the Johnson family. And you go and you visit the Johnson family, and they're not home. And missionaries will get discouraged, or they'll think to themselves, "Oh, that must have just been my own thoughts. I must have been giving myself those thoughts." And he says, Elder Kikuchi says, don't be so selfish and self-centered to think that you're the one giving yourself those thoughts. He said, if the Lord's going to give an important job to somebody, and He wants that job carried out, He's going to want to give it to somebody who's prepared and who will listen to Him when He wants to do it. To get to that point, He's going to want to test you. So the Lord will give you small, insignificant things to do, but He wants to see how obedient you're going to be before He gives you something super important. So He says, so on your mission, you hear a prompting that says, go down that street, or don't go down that street, or hey, call this person up. He says, do all those things, and do them right when you're told. The Lord will see how obedient you are, and then He'll give you really important ones. So then when He says, okay, now I know that this family needs to be taught, go down this street, he knows you will go down that street because he has practiced and he's taught and he's molded you to learn how to listen to the Spirit. And the same things, I've noticed that after my mission as well, that as we do the things the Lord has told us to do, and we hear these little promptings, as insignificant and as small they are, and as the result may be a camouflage result, where we're like, what was that all about? Nothing came of it. I thought that was the Spirit. It very well may be. It very well may be the Lord just testing you so that he can give you something super important. So, listen to your companion when he says, hey, we should go do this. And don't get upset when you go and nothing happens.